Why hello, it's me again, Damien Gatto. This is just me giving fair warning because during the recording of this vid, there a certain portion was cut out due to the fact my camera completely froze. So if you notice a chunk of the video missing, that's why. I was able to save most of it, just not that one centerpiece. But besides that, it's still a good video, still worth a watch. And also, if you want to see Nostalgia Critic's full version of this video that I reacted to, I'll leave the link to it in the description down below. I guess that's just the breaks when you're dealing with a bunch of cats. But besides that, I hope you all enjoy this. I hope you all have a nice day, and hope you all stay classy. Well, hello, it's me again, Damien Gatto, here for another reaction video. Now, the video I'm about to check out today is another Nostalgia Critic video titled Kids WB Nostalgia Critic. Well, I haven't heard that Saturday morning branding in a long time. But besides that, let's have fun and get this party started. And prepare to feel old. But besides that, without further ado, let's go.
This episode brought to you by DoorDash, the app that brings you food you're craving right now, right to your door.
Wow, talk about dead inside.
Did we really used to get up this early just for cartoons?
It's not just cartoons, it's Kids WB.
Don't you mean Vortex?
I'll pretend I didn't hear that.
Hey, where the hell is Critic? Isn't he supposed to be kicking this thing off?
Yeah, let's just start without him.
Hey everybody!
Is that Critic on the TV?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you all? It's a constant party here at Kids WB!
Critic, how long have you been in there?
Hours, days, maybe weeks. I don't know, I've lost track of time because there's always a party here!
You've just been partying nonstop?
That's the Kids WB life! Yeah, everyone's always jumping, screaming, throwing confetti. Thank God no productions are being filmed at this studio because they wouldn't be able to record shit over all the noise!
So you're telling us that you've been partying this entire time and it's had no effect on you?
Kill me!
What?
Kids WB all the way, man! Before every studio tried to have a streaming platform, many tried to get their own TV channel. And in 1995, Warner Brothers launched theirs. Though not always giving the highest of television quality. Well, depending on your definition of highest. WB did have a few hit shows that are still talked about today.
I mean, way back in the day when I was way younger, think about was I maybe 13, 15? The shows that were the highlight of my day were maybe shows like Smallville, and then when Supernatural started, that was awesome. I'm just saying. Now, when I was way, way younger, I remember watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer a lot, and also watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the live-action one, not just the animated one. But besides that,
As well as one of the world's most annoying mascots.
Everybody, the Michigan Rank!
I guess Bugs Bunny was too associated with children to be the mascot, so they went with the Looney Tune that many considered most adult at the time, Michigan J. Frog from One Froggy Evening.
Everybody wants the W, everybody likes...
this is just reminding me of something from my childhood. When I was a kid, I would annoy my parents and my uncle to no freaking end by doing this song and dance number. Everybody do the Michigan rag. I think my dad almost wanted to kill me. But good times.
The WB!
Not only did his literal song and dance routine get old quick, but he weirdly sung about depressing stuff. You ever actually listen to what he sings? I swear I'm not making this up.
Hello, my baby, you're in the red, you're wanted by the IRS. Your love life is in a rut. Enjoy what you got, it isn't a lot, it's certainly not money. Bills continue to pile, go bankrupt in style, just pay the electricity.
Is this a cry for help, Michigan? You gonna throw yourself at Doc Hopper soon? I think The Simpsons summed up this character best.
I need a drink.
But launched at the same time as their adult programming was their children's programming. Kids WB ran on the WB network from 1995 to 2006. They showed less of their frog mascot because, well, only adults should be that annoyed and depressed, and instead had stars from their usual programming, both animated and live action, introduce the lineup. Not gonna lie, it is a little funny seeing a future Oscar winner hype you up for cartoon animals.
If you enjoyed those commercials, then you'll really like the Bugs and Daffy show.
Let's be honest, WB was the parents' house for the cast of In Living Color to get back on their feet.
In some respects, Kids WB left an even bigger impact than their adult shows because it combined what worked on other networks like Fox Kids and combined it with some new styles and ideas, both from America and from Japan, introducing a lot of kids to their first animes.
Hey, what do you got there, a rabbit?
It's a Pokemon.
There's a ton of shows we grew up with, and
I will admit, I was a bit of a big Pokemon geek growing up. That was until Yu-Gi-Oh! Started. But besides that, it's complicated. Let's keep going.
are ready to talk about, so let's get cracking. Because here, the party never stops!
Critic, are you sure you're okay?
Jesus, get me out of here! Nobody should party this much while just randomly turning to the camera announcing the schedule!
Well, how do we get them out?
I got an idea. Critic, read the text message that I'm sending you.
Coming up next, me on the couch. Oh, nice. This is... Tamara, I sent you an email about not wearing the same thing as me! God damn it, now I gotta change it. Go, say the thing.
This is Kids WB!
WB!
You can call me Ed, and you can call this Kids WWWB.
Matthew Lawrence here to tell you you're watching Kids WWWB.
Please don't go. It's great having you here.
Nick Freno, da-da! And this is Kids WWWB.
Why Homelander? I'm sorry, but why freaking Homelander? For goodness sakes, Cat, stop fiddling with the lighting. Yeah, Cat, having fun? Give me a minute, sweetie. You're a good kitty, but seriously. There we go. Put you on the shelf. You're a good girl. Let's get back to this.
What does the WB stand for? We're back!
He's been compared to Elvis Costello, but I think Huey has a far more bitter, cynical sense of humor.
Daffy Duck hasn't let the fact that he's a big-time movie star go to his head.
Now keep in mind, we're not going to be able to talk about all the shows.
Just the ones we grew up with.
Or the ones that left the biggest impact.
So let's not waste any time.
I'm literally saying this just to waste time.
Let's look over the shows that we've discussed before. Okay, so I've talked to death about what I guess you could call the Spielberg-Ruger collection, sometimes with Tom Ruger and others who worked on the shows, so I'm gonna do a bit of a lightning round here. Animaniacs, for the most part, was the same here as it was on Fox Kids, but there was a feeling it could go a little further. A lot of kids' programming had to work in something educational, hence why you saw so many PSAs back in the day. Animaniacs was the same and worked with it beautifully, teaching information with brilliant songs, but when they didn't have an amazing songwriter from time to time, they did have to sneak in an obvious moral, despite them making fun of obvious morals with the wheel morality. Kids WB seem more relaxed with all that, allowing them to push back at forced messages, which honestly can be kind of refreshing by today's standards. I like the recent reboot fine, but their hammered-in messages clearly wanting to save the world does comically clash with the writing on Kids WB.
Why can't our elected leaders just pass laws to strengthen pollution regulations, promote renewable energy, and hold fossil fuel companies accountable?
Let's take the car. We'll have to stop and fill it up, though. That pig sucks gas like it's water.
There's plenty more we can be doing to reverse climate change, like wasting less food and water and switching to energy-efficient appliances.
I think I'm gonna go chop down a Christmas tree and put it in my house to decorate.
We've actually been significantly less naughty ever since the mysterious disappearance of Hello Nurse and Minerva May.
A handshake is how.
Wait a sec. What'd they just say?
House to decorate.
We've actually been significantly less naughty ever since the mysterious disappearance of Hello.
You mean there was a Wait a sec, I haven't seen the entirety of the Animaniacs reboot. Are you telling me they took out Marva Mink and Hello Nurse? How freaking dare you! For a period of time, those two were my Jessica Rabbit. And a source for a lot of my naughty fantasies. But besides that...
Nurse and Minerva May.
A handshake is how we say hello.
Would you like to see how we do it?
Good night, everybody.
I think because they were
okay, that was poking at Pocahontas.
Officially on the Warner Brothers network, they may have been encouraged to make fun of Disney a little bit more, as I swear more parodies popped up, but I could be wrong. Animaniacs was and still is a staple of quality. Their side characters, Pinky and the Brain, got their own series that ran for 3 years. A damn decent run for an animated spin-off. The classic Mouse and Mouse duo proved to have a lot of possibilities and introduced new plans to take over the world, as well as new characters to foil them. They were eventually given another spin-off, Pinky, Elmira, and the Brain, which, I'll be honest, isn't as bad as it sounds. It's not great, but it's better than it has any right to be. I did an episode on that too if you want to check it out. Freakazoid was the first new Spielberg show to premiere on Kids WB, and I think you could argue was the beginning of troll humor in children's cartoons. It leaned much more towards the writers just writing whatever odd jokes were on their mind and not really caring if it tied into the story or if it even had a story. The humor felt a lot more...
Freakazoid was a trip, that's all I'm gonna say. If none of you ever seen it, be sure to check it out, it's a treat.
Experimental, sometimes working, sometimes not, and sometimes changing with time. There's jokes that I didn't think were that funny when I first saw them, but humor evolves over the years, and when I look back, some of them actually are a little better. Again, if you want more detail, you can watch a video I did on it with the people who actually made it. Needless to say, I definitely recommend all these shows.
But what about the shows that Tom Ruegger worked on that didn't have Spielberg's name above the title?
Oh, I see, like when Spielberg erased the guns from E.T., he erased his name on the top of some of these shows?
No, I mean like Road Rovers.
That's not a show.
Stop saying words.
Oh, it's all too real, my friend. Road Rovers was very...
Wait. This looks familiar. Is there a gap in my childhood memories? Because I feel like I should remember this show. Okay, that's why the art I found on Rule 34 and E621 seems so familiar. But besides that...
very different. And undoubtedly a furry awakening for many.
Don't listen to him, my darling.
You're not wrong. Which technically my furry awakening was Marva Mink and Lola Bunny. But besides that...
He knows not what he says.
The series follows the adventures of a team of 5 superpowered anthropomorphic dogs known as Kano Sapiens. It was the next in line of the wide and varied TMNT clones ready to cash in on the popularity of anthropomorphic crime-fighting superheroes.
Hey, Ninja Turtles ripped Street Sharks off, okay?
No, Walter, no.
But they did.
We are not having this conversation again, Walter.
But it's awesome.
Except it's the 90s, so the cash-in is extreme! It was fine for what it was, with hijinks and action distracting enough for a then 6-year-old like myself.
The name is Mr. Puffy Lips, but you can call me an ambulance.
Featuring the talents of Michael Richardson, another one of my inspirations, along with Jim Cummings, Tress MacNeille, Frank Welker, Jess Harnell, and many others, this show had quite an entertaining cast. The jokes and plot had enough charm to complement the camp of its premise. The humor is very dad-based and works well for the bouncy energy one would expect from a pack of dogs.
Achtung! Who's the babe?
She's not a babe, okay? So back off.
Ooh, Tachi, Mr. Tachi.
It was insanely short-lived, only spawning 13 episodes, coming to an abrupt end due to the events surrounding a lawsuit over its idea.
When will dogs stop suing?
A lawsuit over its idea. I wonder why. Which I think is kind of stupid myself. It's just a cartoon. But besides that...
People. Don't nod. You don't know what that is.
Coming to an undisclosed conclusion, the future of the franchise remains a mystery. For what it was, though, it was a fun little adventure that's grown a little bit of a following. If it ever came back in the future, you bet I'd definitely check it out to see what they've been up to.
Okay, but how about some
Okay, well, that might have been a bit sus.
superheroes that wear capes and aren't dogs?
You anti-Canaanites!
Wait, I remember Crypto. How old was I when that started? I was born in 93, so how old would I have been?
What?
Superman the Animated Series expanded the DC animated universe by being the first additional show to take place in the same world as Batman the Animated Series. It was also the first time Supes got his own animated program since the self-titled cartoon from 1988.
And how was that show?
It
Thanks for impersonating me, Dad.
exists.
Yeah, I will admit, Superman as a character has had his corny moments.
Superman was significant for many reasons, including the introduction of non-Superman exclusive heroes and villains from the comics, like The Flash, Green Lantern, Aquaman, Lobo, Darkseid, and many more. This laid the foundation for what Justice
Wait, Lobo's an anti-hero?
League and Justice League Unlimited became in the mid-2000s. Well-known actors like Malcolm McDowell, Gilbert Gottfried, Ed Asner, Lori Petty, and Michael Ironside all popped up to fill many of these supplementary roles across its 54-episode run. The Man of Steel was powered down for most of this show, making him more vulnerable to attacks from his enemies. He wasn't able to simply solve a problem by moving an entire planet, much less an entire city. I really appreciated that, and I think a lot of the bigger stories were better because of it.
But could he spin the Earth backwards, yet not be fast enough to catch 2 missiles?
Or kiss someone, erasing their memory?
Yeah, I will admit, from what I remember about the old Superman movies, there were plot holes that made no freaking lick of sense.
Not be anti-Canaanites? What's that?
Where are you getting
I agree with you, sister.
those?
Hey, where'd Chaplin go?
Tim Daly's Superman/Clark Kent balanced his more human, genuine side with the classic truth and justice pomp and circumstance without going too cornball on his delivery.
What do you do in your off hours?
I think that's a question for another time.
I also love Clancy Brown's Lex Luthor as Kal-El's antithesis. He's right up there with Michael Rosenbaum among my favorite versions of the character. While this show was as bright and colorful as it needed to be, it got darker as it went along, with episodes like Apocalypse Now, Brave New Metropolis, and Legacy, which are some of my personal favorites, covered in a top 5 video we did a few years back.
Savor your moment of triumph, Superman. But remember, victory has its price.
True, there's like 5 intense moments that almost match the intensity of the robot scene from Superman 3. Look at the comments, man. Oh no!
This show hasn't quite endured as much as Justice League or BTAS, but it should not be forgotten. This was a solid interpretation of The Man of Tomorrow that featured some great character work, strong stories, and surprising, yet earned, darker moments. Its impact on the world of Superman is important, and if you've never seen it, I suggest giving it a shot for a faithful and layered incarnation of the Big Blue Boy Scout.
God, I love that show. Have you ever thought about doing it for Bat May?
Wait, it could be called Bat May Beyond.
Ooh, and then after that you can talk about the 2004 series.
Yeah, and I know you like Brave and the Bold. You should do that one too.
Beware the Batman is strange. Talk about it, Walter.
No, but serious, Bat May.
It's
Whatever, like that nice little. I think it's sorry about doing Bat May.
Now, my dad's not much of a Batman fan. He's more of a Superman guy. But I go like that, Dad, have you not seen a single Batman movie or series?
Ozzy and Drix was a show based on the box office laws. Ozzy and Drix continues the stories of
Ozzy and Drix. Wasn't that much of a fan. Don't judge me.
Osmosis Jones and Drix, who are this time in the body of a boy named Hector, rather than a dying Bill Murray.
Do you mean comedically or physically?
Yes. For a show coming off of a major motion picture bomb, I have to admit, this series is much better than it has any right to be. Okay, it's not great, but the voice actors capture the charm of the original actors.
Knife flashing before eyes. Sorry, man, can't help it. Gotta go, 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 go.
The budget for this type of show seems put to good use, and it actually does teach you a little bit about the human body. I think two big advantages the show had was, one, getting rid of the live action segments with Murray, which still feels weird to say, them angels and elephants really threw him off course. And two, it got legendary producer Alan Burnett on board. Yes, that Alan Burnett. About as much effort as you can put into an idea like this was appropriately applied. And they really did make this world interesting in a unique way that evolved the creativity of the original. I don't know, I really thought I was gonna hate this, and I thought it was alright. I guess that's not a glowing recommendation, but if you've seen some of the worst moments in the movie, you know it's still pretty damn impressive.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Finally, we're addressing it. Okay, we'll say it, the king of anime. Okay, I was a bit of a Yu-Gi-Oh freak growing up.
In 2001, Kids WB continued to cash in on the Pokemon craze with an anime called Yu-Gi-Oh! Spelled with an exclamation point. That's very important. Yu-Gi-Oh! Centered around a boy named Yugi who plays an in-universe card game called Duel Monsters. Duel Monsters, to simplify, is kind of like Magic the Gathering and the Pokemon trading card game combined.
So the worst of both worlds.
You can go to hell!
I swear, Doug, if you don't stop, I will backhand you and leave you in a gutter.
Okay, that's
Straight to hell!
Thank you.
Yugi also owns a special artifact called the Millennium Puzzle, which he solved. The puzzle contains the spirit of an old Egyptian pharaoh that becomes Yugi's alter ego. After defeating the best duel monster player in the world, Seto Kaiba, Yugi goes on a quest to solve the mystery behind the Millennium Puzzle and the power it holds. On the way, he encounters other Millennium items and of course plays a ton of duel monsters. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was almost presented as a more grown-up Pokemon. The card game felt more complicated.
Now, I'll be honest, if any of you would like to see me play a little Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, I have nothing against it. I know I'm playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot soon, but that's besides the point.
It felt more action-packed with higher stakes and a darker tone. This anime was also licensed by 4Kids and similar to Pokemon underwent some heavy editing. As a kid, the editing here was more evident, with invisible guns and talk of sending people to the Shadow Realm instead of death threats. Even though many people did compare it to Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Had a unique style and concept. The anime, of course, had a card game that I obviously played too. I was drawn to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it felt deeper and more complex.
I'll admit, I collected Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards like you wouldn't believe. I swear there are times where I bankrupted my parents buying them. Just saying, man.
Than any of the other monster animes I had enjoyed before.
And I will say the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Has stood the test of time, I'll be honest.
Such as Pokemon, Monster Rancher, and even Digimon. It didn't hurt either that I had a huge crush on Seto Kaiba. Fruity anime boys were my type in middle school.
Okay.
Oh god, he is dreaming.
I think for me it was my Valentine.
The series may not have left as much impact culturally as Pokemon, but it was endearing and entertaining to many who felt they were starting to outgrow Pokemon. And though not as big, it still has a massive following all these years later. And for good reason.
Oh, it's cool. The next one's Baby Looney Tunes, and clearly none of us have watched that.
Oh no! Not even I would admit to watching Baby Looney Tunes. I think really all I saw ever was one episode of it. It wasn't really my thing. I like Looney Tunes, definitely, but... eh.
You know what? Don't judge me.
We are.
But don't.
I'm afraid that's impossible.
Okay, hear me out. Baby Looney Tunes asks the brave question, hey, what if the Looney Tunes were babies?
You know, I can stick my fist up all your asses and use you as puppets.
Can I see you do it to Doug and turn him into Kermit?
The premise is so simple and sounds so boring, but there was something outrageously fun about this show. The babies live with Granny in her mansion, wow, lucky, and spend their days playing and pretending. Also, it's Looney Tunes, so there are pie throws and physical comedy. Baby Looney Tunes focused on real-world problems that children could relate to, such as sharing and understanding emotions and playing with others. Okay, they're very simple, but they're taught in the most adorable way. It's impossible not to get involved in their tiny little stories. Lasting for 4 seasons and even getting a movie, Baby Looney Tunes was a somewhat formulaic show that made it easy to watch, always had a lesson to learn, and had better writing than it probably had any right to. Though on the list of theme songs, this one is dead last.
It's a loonyful day to have a little fun the Baby Looney Tunes way.
I don't know, Tamara. I think your
sounds like the song you'd hear before you join a cult.
brain's coming in dead last.
Yeah, what's next? The show about baby Damon Wayans?
Okay, going back a little bit to 1996, Waynehead was another short
Wait, this existed?
lived animated original on the Kids WB lineup. The story is a retelling of Damon Wayans' childhood in the Chelsea neighborhood of the New York City borough of Manhattan. It features the voices of the Wayans brothers, John Witherspoon, Gary Coleman, Frank Welker, and then rising child star Orlando Brown as the lead, Damie Wayne. Despite a recognized and respected cast, the show saw low ratings and ended prematurely. Each episode featured the comedic spirits of the Wayans family, but with the TV-wide rating, their talents were severely undercut. And looking at the credited writers on the show,
I swear I was going to do another video after this, but I swear my throat is getting so freaking dry from my commentary.
it looks like the Wayans were more so referenced rather than doing any writing themselves. And it shows, unfortunately. I wanted to like the show more. Even my parents were excited for when this show came out, but it couldn't hold my attention or anyone else's, sadly. It'd be nice to have this project re-envisioned with Damon Wayans more involved in the show's writing. But as it stands, it'll be remembered as that one Wayans Bros cartoon. The idea was kinda cool, but the execution, not so much.
Speaking of Batman Beyond...
We in no way were.
Quiet! Brilliant segue coming. Let's take a look at another spin-off.
What'd I do?
It's the DCAU show that nobody remembers, the Zeta Project. Spinning off of the Season 2 Batman Beyond episode Zeta, this series followed a tactical synthoid built for the National Security
Wait, I remember the Zeta Project.
Agency to impersonate enemies of the state and kill them for gaining information. Eventually, Infiltration Unit Zeta grows a conscience and refuses to carry out his ordered executions. Thus, he becomes a fugitive and goes on the run, picking up a young friend named Ro along the way. Together, they try to find Zeta's original creator in hopes of uncovering the answers to his growing sense of morality and prove his innocence to the NSA, who thinks terrorists have reprogrammed him to be a danger to the populace. DCAU writer Robert Goodman pitched the show to Kids WB as a version of the 1960s TV series The Fugitive with a runaway robot. He was at first hoping to make it even darker than Batman Beyond and explore deeper themes. While the network ordered the series, they saw it as a way of drawing a younger demographic. Problem was, catering just to 6 to 11-year-olds.
Now, I will admit I do remember this and I did like it, but it didn't last that long. Probably why my memory is so fuzzy on the series.
Was not what Goodman wanted for his show. This led to clashes between the showrunner and the network that eventually
Maybe I should cover this series.
led to this series ending after 2 seasons. The final episode finished off on an unresolved cliffhanger, but in the decade since, Goodman has tried getting a new version of the series off the ground, with the latest attempt coming in the form of a potential live-action drama. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't even know the Zeta Project existed until well after Kids WB was dead and gone. I knew that Zeta came back to Batman Beyond in Season 3's Countdown with a new look and Ro at his side, but I had no idea that he had his own show. So, I did some background research in addition to watching a few installments. From what I saw, the series wasn't bad. I could see what the show wanted to be, peeking through the network's mandatorily bright surface. I was always planning on watching it to complete my DCAU viewing experience, but now I'm not as worried about being bored the entire time. Don't get me wrong, the animation and music aren't very good, a clear downgrade from most shows in the same universe, but there is a charm that's apparent in the little I saw. We'll call this a pleasant surprise. I definitely want to hear if any of you remember watching this show when it aired. What did you think of it back then? As for the here and now, the Zeta Project will likely continue to remain in general obscurity.
Speaking of good hero stories, let's talk about the Batman.
Not like baby Batman?
Or Batman's dog or something?
Those stories will be told at a different time. In this review.
Oh. For goodness sakes, I was hoping they'd talk about this. One of my favorite Batman series that I enjoyed. I mean, it took a new, awesome, fresh take.
The Batman is an underrated, hopeful version of the Dark Knight with a unique style of his own. Being the first animated Batman story after Batman Animated Series universe, this show had big bat boots to fill. It follows the story of Batman as we know him and follows canon character arcs and things like that, but it also does a great job of building lore unique to itself. This version of Bruce Wayne comes to us only a few years into being the Batman. He has a more hopeful outlook and wants to have a life outside of being the Batman. He meets villains for the first time, and by the end of the show's 5 seasons, his character arc has led him closer to his gruff older self. The villains in this show especially shine. Mr. Freeze is so cool with his ice head. Maybe my favorite iteration of the Riddler. Clayface? Incredibly told story that I haven't seen in years and I remember so vividly to this day.
Yeah, I remember the Clayface episodes. I mean, it was very emotional, having to juggle with the whole identity crisis. I mean, no question you'd have an identity crisis if your body could turn to clay and you could turn into anybody. I'm just saying, it was very deep.
Hot take, but maybe one of the best Jokers ever. Kevin Michael Richardson is a wildly underrated Joker. His Joker's so scary, so yucky. The huge orange teeth, the green wild hair, the scary huge red eyes. He's such an interesting and uncomfortable character to look at, and it's awesome.
One of the best takes that I've seen on the Joker in a while.
Don't share your sense of humor. Yet we're linked, you and I, like comedy and tragedy. Two sides, same coin.
Also, I will be cosplaying this version of Catwoman one day. I will!
Is she the owl guy from Watchmen now?
Oh, Catwoman. Yes, claw me up. Sorry.
He is everything and you are nothing.
No, really, what did we do to you?
For a character that has so many interpretations, this is one of the most underappreciated. It needs more love, more discussion, and more time in the Bat spotlight.
Don't worry, the Looney Tunes will pick up where this dark, edgy story left off.
Right?
I wish I wasn't.
Okay, to be honest with you, I like the Lunatics for what it was. Didn't quite understand it, though, and why it needed to be made. But it was an interesting take. I mean, it was something fresh that I hadn't seen over and over. And that was my cat. Let's keep going.
Released in 2005, Lunatics Unleashed is a futuristic action series set in a post-apocalyptic world, and the Looney Tunes are the main characters. You see, a meteorite hits the city of Acmetropolis.
A meteor strikes the city planet of Acmetropolis.
I gotta give the narrator credit, I wouldn't be able to say that name without laughing. And admit it, you can't hear it without laughing.
And another series with a hot bunny. And not just a hot bunny, a hot pink bunny. Why is my head going to the gutter today?
And it gives our team protagonists, because of course they're teens, superpowers. Their leader, Sadavia, even as made-up names go, doesn't sound like the most made-up name, summons them to stop all the forces of evil from harming the city, and of course, making a few zingers here and there. People hated this show even before it came out. Their reveal got petitions going. Apparently the
I don't see I didn't listen, I may be the only one thinking this, but I didn't exactly hate it. I mean, I had seen the same stuff be done over and over again, and I liked it, but it's nice to see something, a fresh take on something come out, I'm just saying.
VP of Creative Affairs always pointed to them as what not to do when designing characters. And I will say, as bad as the show is, yeah, okay, I'll say it, it could have been worse. I mean, yes, this is a dead idea from the start, but the animation is nice, some of the voice acting is enjoyable, the imagination, I mean, you have to be imaginative to come up with something this crazy. It's not the worst, but I think it's pretty clear most Looney Tunes fans are not gonna enjoy it. You just can't get past the idea of it. It's like that new Warriors comic they were gonna release years ago. Even if it somehow got the best writing you've seen in a while, you're just not gonna be able to see past this concept. There's worse out there, but that doesn't make it good.
How about something that was meant to be funny?
Well, I think it was... I don't know what it was supposed to be. Yeah, funny would be nice.
Oh, Mucha Lucha. I remember that.
Mucha Lucha entered the ring of Kids WB on August 17th, 2002. The premise is pretty simple. It's about three friends, Ricochet, Buena Girl, and the Flea, who are students at the foremost, world-renowned International School of Lucha! This world uses Mandalorian rules, so no one takes their masks off.
Ah, Mandalorian logic.
People also highly value and hone their signature wrestling moves. The show was fast-paced and funny, with a lot of style and laughs. By the time the show was premiering, I was in high school, but I was still drawn
My favorite character was the Flea.
to watching it with my little brothers because it was so engaging. It also holds the honor of being one of the first broadcast animated television shows to be fully animated in Adobe Flash.
Whoa. Actually...
It totally shows.
It totally shows, but it's still interesting.
Although it was considered a hit by the network, it was never quite as popular as it should have been. This gem holds a little masked place in my heart. It's a very strange but memorable step inside the ring.
Okay, it looks like we have only one show left that one of us saw, and it's...
Crypto the Superdog, the superior follow-up to NFT the Cat, was released in 2006 and has the
Doug, I do not know why you're shitting on this show. This was an awesome show.
catchiest theme song ever made. I heard it once as a kid, and that's all it took. It has never left my brain. I am humming it to myself as I read this. If you know, you know.
You and me both.
No.
Catchiest song? Really?
Are you sure they weren't just making it up as they go along?
That is something that an anti!
Yeah, very scary. Just keep
Kill him!
Crypto is a superdog and a good boy who traveled on an interstellar ship from Krypton. He lands on Earth and is adopted by Kevin Whitney, a 9-year-old boy, and his family. Superman knows that his dog is with the Whitneys, but says he's too busy to take care of him and lets Kevin hold on to him. Which is majorly effed up if you think about it. Really makes you
Yeah. You basically have your own personal guard dog with laser eyes.
think what kind of a dog owner Superman was.
Yeah, seriously, he couldn't show cryptocurrency? I know.
Cryptocurrency!
Crypto poses as an ordinary dog while living with Kevin's family, but adopts the secret identity of Crypto the Superdog for his super dog stuff. He has many other super animal friends and foes, like Joker's pet hyenas and Catwoman's pet cat. While this show only lasted for 2 seasons, it was a cute and easy watch. Now, I want a whole show talking about Hawkgirl and her pet pigeons, but until then, this is an adorable show to check out.
In 2006, the WB network merged with UPN to create the CW. While Kids WB technically survived a little longer, it didn't make much sense to have something called Kids WB on a channel not even called WB. In 2008, Kids WB officially shut down. Even the frog took a bow when the writing was on the wall. It eventually became CW for Kids, which was later replaced by Toonzai, which was later replaced by Vortex. In 2008, it was relaunched as an online network with 5 sub-channels. It just wasn't the same.
Kids WB was similar to other kids programming at the time, but it had
Which I did like Legion of Superheroes.
a style and a feel that was all its own.
It allowed both old and new ideas to grow and become something that would leave an impact on several generations.
Whether meant for younger kids, teens, and even some adults, it seemed like there was something valuable for everyone in this lineup.
People still look fondly on it years later and continue to talk about the shows and characters that'll continue to live on in people's imaginations.
It was something we were all lucky to experience, and we thank all the artists and storytellers who worked their asses off to bring it to us. You all truly knew how to keep the party going. I'm the Nostalgia Critic, I remember. I'm sorry, we're really goddamn tired.
Me too.
We're still doing cameos for charity, and this month, we're doing Lurie Children's Hospital. They understand that caring for kids takes more than medicine. From diagnosis to treatment, it requires compassion and understanding that kids do best when they get to be kids. With a team of world-renowned pediatric experts and kid-friendly care, there's a reason they're ranked #1 children's hospital in Illinois. So if you want a cameo of me saying happy birthday or good luck or whatever, click on the link below and be giving to a good cause. If you're like, no, I hate you and everything there is to hate about you, well, check out this wonderful place anyway. The great people that do great work, and you can help them in a great way.
Well, that was enjoyable, I will admit, and it brought back a lot of random nostalgia. I mean, I enjoyed that. But besides that, this was by the Nostalgia Critic. He made a lot of interesting points, and also the others did too. But besides that, be sure to check him out. Does awesome work. Also, be sure to check out my channel, Damien Gatto, Gameplays and Reactions. We'll be doing some gameplays soon. Also, be sure to leave me comments and videos you'd like to recommend in the description down below. Thank you. Have a nice day, and I hope you all take care. But I have to say, that was just plain awesome. Well, hello, it's me again, Damien Gatto. Just thought I'd put this out there for anybody that's new to the channel, even for those that are not new to the channel, that have been here for a while. Just thought I'd put this out there. If you want any future updates on gameplays, reactions, and other such, and also just info on the channel in general, be sure to check out the community and about tabs. Because I thought I'd put this out there because I know my upload schedule's been a bit erratic lately. Just saying, because with everything going on right now, just saying. But besides that, I hope you have a nice day. Hope you all take care and still stay classy.